all you need to know. KNX 1070 News Radio and Infinity Station. Good afternoon. It's 12:29 on Thursday, November 9th. I'm Dick Helton. You're tuned to KNX 1070. These are the places where there's news. Tallahassee, the Democrats asked for a hand count of ballots in 4 Florida counties. An emergency court hearing is held on demand for a new vote in Palm Beach. The latest coming up from CBS. City of Orange, a constitutional law expert talks live with KNX about some of the legal issues surrounding the Florida balloting. Capitol Hill, Capitol House races and one Senate contest still too close to call. Huntsville, Texas prepares to execute a Mexican national tonight for a 1989 rape and murder. Those stories coming up along with sports from Chuck Madden.
CBS News Update. I'm Pamela McCall. The amazing shrinking lead. George W. Bush now has only 781 votes more than Al Gore. That's with 59 of Florida's 67 counties recounted. Florida election officials say they'll have a final count within hours. Back of the lawsuit front, a Florida Democrat has dropped his case in a federal court. CBS News reporter Michael Hiblin joins us live from West Palm Beach.
The lawsuit was brought by a lifelong Democrat in his 70s named Milton Miller. His attorney says he decided this afternoon to withdraw the case to allow Al Gore and the Democratic Party to take any action that they deem necessary.
What about the civil suit filed? Where does that stand?
That case is still being pursued. I talked to the attorneys just a short while ago who are representing 3 voters who say they meant to vote for Al Gore, but because of the confusing ballot here in Palm Beach County, voted for Pat Buchanan. They're asking for a new election in this county.
As for the Bush camp, it wants a vote recount in 4 other states. CBS News Update. I'm Pamela McCall.
This is Bill Lauren. In the wake of not being able to announce a winner of Tuesday's presidential balloting, the question once again is, does this country need the Electoral College system? Here in California, all 54 electoral votes are now pledged to the state's winner, Al Gore. One of those 54 votes to be cast next month in Sacramento will be by Electoral College member and Anaheim insurance broker, Sonny Agee. KNX asked Agee, a Democrat, under the circumstances, keep or get rid of the Electoral College system.
It goes on the district level, whichever district each party takes, and they send the Electoral College to the capital to vote for the president, vice president. I think that system needs to be looked upon to make those kind of adjustments, and I think overall the Electoral College system works fine.
Agee says even if George W. Bush should walk away with the electoral votes from the Florida recount, he wants to see Republican Electoral College members cross the line, as he puts it, and vote for Gore because, quoting him now, he's the popular vote winner nationwide. From Orange County, Bill Lauren, KNX 1070. There are, of course, a number of constitutional uncertainties surrounding this most extraordinary election and recount. Dr. John C. Eastman is the Director of Constitutional Jurisprudence and Professor of Law at Chapman University in Orange, and joined us live on the Newsline now with some additional perspective. Dr. Eastman, thanks for joining us here on KNX.
Dick, thank you for having me.
There are a number of issues, as you've heard, and you've been watching, I'm sure. It's a fascinating time for constitutional law professors, I think, to be looking at where we stand at this point in our history. What is the nature of merit of a lawsuit that says I was disenfranchised because I was confused?
Well, you know, that's a state court issue, and there's Florida Court of Appeals precedent on the subject. It says, you know, if there's a confusing ballot, the remedy is to challenge it before the election. Both political parties, in fact, every political party that was on the ballot out there, and every voter, potential voter, received sample ballots before the election. And if anybody thought it was confusing, that was the time to challenge it. There's a Florida Court of Appeals held back in 1974 in a similar case. It has often been held that one who does not avail himself of the opportunity to object to irregularities in the ballot prior to the election may not object to them after. This is a little bit of, you know, we lost and we'd like to have a new shot at it mentality. It reminds me of the old childhood game. You know, I lost the first one. Can we go 2 out of 3? That's not the way we do our elections.
In terms of this, however, and just for a moment, taking a look at the people who say that they were confused and that they weren't able to properly figure out the ballot, is there a chance that because they were not the people who actually looked over the ballot, maybe these were younger people and were confused by it? I mean, let's face it, as we heard Dave Ross say just a few minutes ago, we're talking about mostly elderly people. Then would that work into the mix, or is it just a black and white issue, basically?
Well, it's a black and white issue. For a couple of things. How are you going to say? I mean, if they knew that they voted wrong, when did they know that? Would they know that before they put the ballot in which case they just take it back to the election commissioner there and say, I've soiled my ballot, can you give me a new one? If they think they might have voted wrong after they put the ballot in the locked box, How are we going to find out which ballot was theirs to confirm that? Are they going to take their word and then say, well, look, when you count those, just drop off one for Buchanan and give me a new ballot so I can add it for Gore? I mean, that's extraordinary. We wouldn't think of doing that in an overseas election in a third world country. To think that we would consider doing that for a moment here is absurd.
So where I hear you coming from is that you don't see any constitutional challenges in the state of Florida right now that would result in a change of where this election is headed. And right now with the recount, by the way, it looks as though if you look at the number of votes that Al Gore seems to be picking up in each of the counties, that he still would not have enough by the time the recount is over to overtake what Governor Bush has right now.
That's right, and as I understand it, the 8 remaining counties that are not yet counted are more heavily Republican, so one would presume that if anybody's going to pick up more in those counties, it would be Governor Bush rather than Vice President Gore. And the second piece is there are a lot of ballots, absentee ballots, coming in primarily from overseas military bases that have not yet been counted, and that should widen the margin even further down there.
All right, Dr. John C. Eastman, Director of Constitutional Jurisprudence and Professor of Law at Chapman University in Orange. KNX News Time 1236. The news continues, sponsored by Major Garage Doors. While Democrats failed to win a majority in either House of Congress in this week's election, party leaders envision greater influence into their gains in the House and Senate. Doesn't get much closer than the Senate, where the possibility of a 50-50 tie hinges on the Washington state race between GOP Senator Slate Gorton and Democratic challenger Maria Cantwell. That one remains too close to call. Now the news continues, sponsored by Glendale Career College. The Mexican government is trying to stop the execution of a Mexican national slated to die tonight in Texas.
31-year-old Miguel Angel Flores is scheduled to be put to death by lethal execution in Huntsville, Texas later today for the 1989 rape and murder of a Texas co-ed. The Mexican government has taken up Flores' case because he was not allowed to contact consular officials when he was arrested 11 years ago, in apparent violation of international law. Also, a federal appeals court judge in New Orleans that reviewed the case expressed doubts about the court-appointed psychiatrist who never personally examined Flores. Mexican officials often challenge death penalty cases in the U.S. because capital punishment is not used in Mexico. Flores maintains he is innocent and says he was pressured to sign a confession because police told him they were holding his mother. Unless the Supreme Court grants a stay of execution, the only person who can pardon Flores is Texas Governor George W. Bush. Mexican diplomats say he is unlikely to do that since the state's Board of Pardons recommended against it. In Mexico City, Adrian Bard, KNX 1070. It starts with caring, a gentle touch, a skilled hand, and the intention of being of service. This is massage therapy, a career that offers independence and the ability to put your future literally in your own hands.
Of the 67 counties in Florida, we have 56 that have been recounted, and the original vote count had Bush leading Gore by 1784. So far, the recount shows Republican George W. Bush now leading by 775 votes. Stay with us here at KNX4, the very latest. Well, Bobby and I will be coming to a TV near you anytime soon. Here's the Chuck.
Underway in Florida. CBS News is now reporting with 60 of 67 counties now recounted. Bush lead over Gore has grown to 1,039 votes. Out of nearly 6 million votes cast statewide, Florida has 25 electoral votes, so this will determine the winner of a very unusual race for the White House. And while we wait for the Bush press conference, which will include his spokeswoman, his campaign chairman and chief strategist, let's go to CBS News reporter Steve Futterman is standing by. Steve?
Well, Cammie, we expect to hear the Bush spin right now on what's taking place in Florida, and we may get an idea of what might be said from a statement issued earlier today by Ari Fleischer. He's a Bush-Cheney campaign spokesman. He said that the Palm Beach County votes are not really an anomaly. He says Palm Beach County is a Pat Buchanan stronghold, and that, he says, is why Pat Buchanan received more than 3,000 votes. And then in this written statement, he attacked the Democrats. He says, given these facts, what happened on election night in Palm Beach County is not unusual. Right now, let's go to the podium. This is Karen Hughes, the Bush campaign spokeswoman.
Imagine we're getting quite a few phone calls at headquarters, and it's virtually impossible to try to get back to all of you, but we decided to have this briefing this afternoon in an effort to accommodate the media's interest. And I know all of you are wondering what's going on, just as all of America is. Governor Bush has spent the day primarily in meetings at the governor's mansion. He started the morning with an 8 a.m. meeting met with Condoleezza Rice, Dr. Condi Rice, who's Chief Foreign Policy Advisor. He has met several times with Secretary Cheney and with members of our senior staff and advisors. He had lunch with Secretary Cheney this afternoon. He is meeting with Texas Lieutenant Governor Rick Perry, and again talking about the state business and how all of this affects the state of Texas. I'm now going to introduce to you Chairman of our campaign, Don Evans, and he has a statement from the campaign.
Thank you, Karen, very much. Good afternoon, all of you. Thank you for coming. We've had a close vote for the presidency of the United States, especially in Florida, and we must now complete an accurate recount. We are confident that an accurate recount will verify the results of Tuesday night, and that Florida's Electoral College votes will be awarded to Governor Bush, Secretary Cheney, giving them more than 270 Electoral College votes required for the presidency. Vice President Gore's campaign did not like the outcome of Election Day. And it seems they're worried that they won't like the official recount results either. In addition, my counterpart at the Gore campaign has made some statements about ballots in Palm Beach County that don't tell the whole story. He notes that 19,000 ballots have been invalidated for overcounting, casting votes for two candidates at the same office. He neglects to point out that in 1996, a year with much lower turnout, a similar number of 14,872 ballots were invalidated for double counting in Palm Beach County. And statewide, 143,000 ballots were invalidated for overcounting in 1996. The Democrats were politicizing and distorting these events, risk doing so at the expense of our democracy. One of the options that they seem to be looking at is new elections. Our democratic process calls for a vote on Election Day. It does not call for us to continue voting until someone likes the outcome. Throughout this process, it's important that no party to this election act in a precipitous manner or distort an existing voting pattern in an effort to misinform the public. This process requires a thoughtful, calm, serious, and transparent effort, and that is exactly why Governor Bush, Secretary Cheney, as former Secretary James Baker lead this effort on their behalf. I would now like to ask our campaign chief, the strategist, Karl Rove, to brief you on some of the specifics of Florida and around the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to address 3 points. First of all, there were allegations raised today about a disproportionate number of votes cast in Palm Beach County for Pat Buchanan. Not that we're defending Pat Buchanan, but to set the record straight, there are 16,695 voters in Palm Beach County who registered as a member of the Independent Party, the Reform Party, or the American Reform Party, which were the labels born this year by the reform effort in Florida. This is an increase of 110% over the registration totals for the same party in 1996. Throughout the rest of Florida, the registration increase for these parties was roughly 38%. There are a disproportionate share of Reform Party members in Palm Beach County. For example, while there are 16,695 Palm Beach County residents who have registered the Reform Party, in the nearby county of Broward, there are only 476 individuals who registered to this party. The second thing that was talked about was the so-called confusing butterfly ballot. The Gore campaign has been handing out a somewhat hazy and fuzzy copy of it, so we are making available to you, and can do so electronically as well, a relatively clean and clear copy of the butterfly ballot, which indicates that this is not as susceptible to confusion as Chairman Daley indicated. In fact, I really thought it was ironic that Chairman Daley went to great lengths to decry the butterfly ballot as confusing and undemocratic, because I have here the copy of the Cook County, Illinois judicial ballot, which is a butterfly ballot. It's been used in a number of states, in a number of counties, and it's historically been used in Cook County, Illinois. Maybe Mr. Daley is in a better place to decry democracy and confusion in Cook County than he is in Florida.
That's campaign strategist Karl Rove with Austin, Texas. You just heard his comments along with Don Evans, the campaign chief, down there to respond to the comments of Bill Daley, the campaign chairman for Vice President Gore. You heard his comments here on KNX earlier today as well. This is getting down to a he said situation. We'll continue to follow it for you right here on KNX.
Your cholesterol's okay and you exercise regularly. If I could have heart disease, so could you. And believe me, if you've got a problem, this is a far better way to find out than the alternative. The procedure is fast and totally painless.
That's 1-800-NEW-TEST, 1-800-NEWTEST. Lung cancer screening now also available in Irvine, Torrance, and Beverly Hills.
Don't you wish you could breathe cleaner air in your home? 800-344-4444. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. The Ionic Breeze Silent Air Purifier, only from the Sharper Image.
Here are the latest numbers out of Florida. 58 counties have now been recounted of the 67, and the number counts a lead by George W. Bush of 408 votes. 408 votes. 58 of the counties have been recounted. We'll check the traffic with Donna in a moment. There's a slight chance we'll see a little bit of light rain or drizzle here in Los Angeles later on tonight, and maybe tomorrow morning as well. Low tonight should be in the 50s, high tomorrow 60s, right now it's 60 degrees. In the presidential race, the finger pointing over the ballot count in Florida continues. You'll hear that story and much more right here on KNX Los Angeles.